Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Today I'm really honored to have as my guest Mr. Stanley Yan, who is chairman of the Landis Hotel Taipei, or rather Landis Taipei Hotel. And he's also chairman of the Alliance, which helps children of indigenous tribes, mostly on the east coast of Taiwan. Well, let's welcome Mr. Yan. Mr. Yan, thank you so much for coming.
Hi, Shirley. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, you know, I think a lot of people really want to know more about you as a person, about your life. We know so much about what you've done for Taiwan, for the tourism here, the Tourism Bureau and everything. But can we start with, you know, what was your childhood like? We're so curious to know. I know that you were only 1 year old when you moved from Shanghai to Taiwan.
Yeah.
But what was your childhood like?
Well, actually, my father actually have 5 children.
Ah.
Okay. And we came to Taiwan with 4 of us.
Okay.
One brother did not make it.
Oh.
But together, my father also brought along 2 friends' son come over. At that time, some of the family where they have still a lot of big assets, they was little reluctant to remove from China. So they have their kids come along with us. So we came with 6 kids.
Wow.
Together with my mother.
Yes.
When we first landed here, we used to own a hotel in Shanghai, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
But we lost everything. So my father actually had to start from scratch. But he's not really a business person. He living in my original family is from Hangzhou.
Okay.
He came from a very wealthy family, so he doesn't really have to work in his life until the war. And after war, of course, we get to Taiwan. We first landed in Tainan.
Okay.
Because of, Hangzhou used to have the Air Force base there called 剑桥机场.
Yes.
So my father have a lot of friends. He was invited, say, come to Tainan. The weather is good, and you can we can easily get you a house.
Yes.
So my father kind of decided to settle down in Tainan, and he was elected in that little district as a Lizang. Okay, Lizang is not even a mayor; it's another smaller district.
Right.
Okay, but anyway. That's how he started his career in Taiwan.
Okay.
But for myself, my father, actually, I was born when my father was already 46. I was the last child in the family. So he really doesn't believe he needs to put too much effort on me. He himself have changed his lifestyle after facing all the change in his own life. So he actually turned himself become a Buddhist. Okay, Buddhism. He spent a lot of time to do meditations, to practice his. He run this district. Also help some of the people who escaped from China. At that time, a lot of people, in order to come to Taiwan, they had to join the military, or they are forced. By the military to take the young people to join the military. So when they landed here, obviously a lot of them, they are not used to the military life. So a lot of them escaped.
Oh, okay.
They come to my father for help. So actually my father, because at that time he was the one doing the registration for anybody immigrant who comes to Taiwan. They need a new ID. So he was kind of person who would help people to find a new life.
Yeah, it looks like you really take after your father. A very kind-hearted person, a true philanthropist. That's what I see.
That's why I think that's what I have learned from my father. In a very poor condition yourself, you still give rooms to others.
That is so great.
Yeah, that's what my childhood probably the most important influence to me.
All right. Well, we're going to jump right ahead, like way ahead.
Sure.
I know you served in military. You know, you did your job as you're supposed to, And then you got a job. Well, actually, you didn't know where you were going to find a job, and you got a job as a messenger at
Sure.
American Express. But then only in 5 years, you became general manager of American Express. I think all of us are very curious to know how you did it.
Well, in Chinese, there is a saying called 时势造英雄. I was in that particular circumstance. I was given the opportunity. American Express was just about open that time.
Okay.
So I was recruited in a situation where the company was started from scratch. In their recruitment requirement, basically on the newspaper they say, well, we require everybody have college university degree because you must be able to speak English. And that was very hard for me because I certainly disqualified for that without being to university myself and just finished the military service. So I was really disappointing. I was looking forward because one of my classmates who graduated from university and got a job, you know.
You mean at American Express as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was my neighbor. That was the reason how I know there is opportunity there. Until one day, actually my friend realized I tried to look for a job for 6 months without being able to get anywhere.
Yes.
Finally, my friend said, well, we seems to have one possibility to hire someone do not require a university degree. I said, well, what was the job? He said, well, messenger. Okay. For me, my English level, I can't even understand what is the meaning of messenger. I heard about managers, but never know what is messengers. But anyway, I said, whatever job, you know, I'll take it. You know, because without being, you know, you got so frustrated for 6 months without being able to find anything.
Yes.
So that was my very first opportunity. I went into American Express as a messenger in 1971. Okay, and that was a time where Taiwan actually got thrown out from United Nations.
Right.
It was a very difficult time for Taiwan. And I wasn't being able to speak English, to be honest. You know, I joined the company. I was like everybody else. I saw Taiwan become an orphan to the world. You know, we won't be able to have any connection with the world anymore. We lost our platform in the political platform in the United Nations. But when I joined, soon after I joined American Express, I find that was totally wrong. Okay, because American Express have a lot of credit card holders, travel check holders. I have, of course, the travelers who comes there. They pick up mails at that time, you know, customer mails at that time. So I was very amazed. One of my job being a messenger is I have to go to the mailbox like 3 times a day. Not for the company, it's mostly for the travelers who is looking for their mails. Okay? Because American Express have 800 offices around the world. And certainly American Express become the mailing address for many customers of American Express.
That's very nice of American Express to offer that kind of service. Yeah,
at that time, it was very hard.
I know. I mean, these people are homesick, you know, so they want to get their letters from their family.
So, so suddenly I see a purpose. I saw every time when I went to post office, come back, I always see someone is waiting for me.
Oh.
And I find, wow,
your
what
job
an
is so
important. Yeah, you suddenly realizing we are not really totally cut off the relation with foreign visitors. Actually, it didn't take me a long time to understand. Actually, tourism is a very important vehicle to making friends for Taiwan with the world.
Right.
And that was one of the very first inspirations for me about what is the true meaning of tourism.
Right.
Okay, I surely since then have committed a lot of time trying to be a host for Taiwan. Trying to be a host for Taiwan.
Nobody had to ask you to do that. You did it yourself.
So I immediately self-motivate myself to see the purpose of doing that.
Yeah.
So I think that is very very good opportunity for me to discover myself, to realize I am a person full of passions. I'm a person really like to serve people with a purpose. And that really helped me to discover my real talent. Okay. Since then, I become a very positive person to any kind of challenge, and I want to do a good job, and I see there is a good purpose of doing that. And
so then the big boss of American Express noticed you, right?
Well, it didn't take too long for him to realize that, because for example, simple reasons. Very often I'm asked by the tourists saying, well, Stanley, would you mind to come back on Sunday to go to the post office because I'm leaving tomorrow, okay? Oh. So I would take the initiative to do that for them. You know, I would every weekend when I supposed to be my day off,
yeah,
I went to the post office just like normal days, you know, to pick up the mail. If I discover the mail, I would call the guys in the hotel.
Oh, wow.
And remind him his mail have arrived.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, those are the things was not required by the company because it's my day off, you know. But I would do that, okay. And I sometimes transfer mails when I see someone who have been coming for a few more times and without being able to see the mail, and they disappointingly they have to leave. So I said, well, why don't you just give me your next address? I'll try to mail it to you.
Oh, wow.
And I did.
At your own expense?
At my own expense.
Oh.
At that time, I don't even know company can compensate you for that. And I only earn like $50 a month. Yes. And half of them have to go to my mother, you know. But I will reach out my pocket and buy a post stamp and send it for them. So accidentally, obviously, without my notice, some people will come back and send me. They would write back some postcards, tell me how grateful they are.
Right.
And there are people who write directly to the GM.
Oh, okay.
So you got a staff to did some extraordinary work.
Yes.
So the GM started to recognize there is someone, okay,
yes,
serving the customer with full of passions. So they start to offer me the very first job will require a university degree. You know, at the same time, my English started to pick up. Oh. I finally see a reason and purpose of learning English.
Wow.
Of course, English is still getting rusty. You know,
I don't think so. You're
for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, since then, I certainly try hard to pick up my language.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you exactly learn the language? I mean, for our listeners, you know, Taiwanese people are afraid to open their mouth and speak up because they're afraid to make mistakes. Yeah. If you can, Mr. Yan, tell them how they should be bold enough to open their mouth and speak. I mean, what other advice do you have?
Well, if you see any growing up kids, you will never give them a book, ask them to memorize the spellings before you teach them how to speak.
But Taiwan education does that.
That's the Taiwan education.
Yes.
But the reality is that 70% of the kids cannot learn through books. And so the most simple way to teach is by face-to-face conversations, face-to-face demonstrations. So that's how I learn my English. You know, at school, I hate English because you have to memorize all these vocabularies and all these words. But when you are in the real world, every day you have to talk to people face to face, right or wrong.
Yeah, even if you make mistakes, you didn't care if you make mistakes.
Yeah. So I turn out to be very positive in learning English. Yeah.
But the thing is that we keep telling Taiwanese people to just don't be afraid to make mistakes and just open your mouth and just say it.
Sure.
What else can you say?
That's the only thing I think. Really? They just need to, you know, you have to find any possible opportunities. Open your mouth.
Yeah.
You know? And of course you have to learn about other people's culture. You know, if you don't know about other people's culture, you cannot carry a conversation. You can only speak something out of your own knowledge.
Right.
And that doesn't go too long.
Yeah.
The only thing can break through that barrier is that you start to showing interest about where other people came from, what was the reason they're coming over here, or what you can learn out of the conversations.
So what was it like being the GM of American Express after you got that job?
I was really, American Express have not been doing well for the very first 4.5 years they opened in Taiwan. And they seem to have a policy, if the company cannot work out in 5 years' time, they have a new president at that time just say, just close it down.